Hey everyone, it's Sam in the barn again. I promise you when I get 1,000,000 subscribers, I will get all the best equipment to make the best show you've ever seen in your goddamn life. But until then, we're just going to record in the barn and that's how it's going to be. Today we're going to address a topic that's been nagging at me for a really long time that I think needs to be talked about. And sometimes when I get an idea in my head, I can't let it go and I obsess over it. And until I get it out, I cannot move forward. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Real quick though, before I go on to this topic, I would like to say, based on a couple comments in my previous video, I think that I may have confused some people. So in case those people are watching, I would like to say that when I said establishment Republicans, I did not mean red voters, Republican voters. That is not who I meant. I meant establishment Republicans that are in Congress that resemble the Lindsey Grahams and Nikki Haley's of this world. That's who I was talking about. Okay, the ones who pay lip service to red voters. Yep, now that's out of the way. Just to be clear, I don't want anyone to think I'm causing any division. So yeah, I've clarified that. Now I'd like to talk about alternative media. YouTube channels and Rumble channels that claim to be on your side, but are in fact fairly disingenuous, and they all seem to be pushing the same kind of news at the same time, like they're getting a memo from someone, hey, talk about this today. And not all of them do that, but a good group of them do, and their basic point is the system is corrupt. The duopoly needs to be taken down. We got to end this now. And then on the other side, they offer no solutions. They tell you to vote against your own best interests. They tell you to not vote at all, or they tell you to vote for someone who doesn't have a chance in hell of getting on the ballot. And I feel like that's disingenuous because you're acting like you're on our side, but then the solutions you're offering are not solutions at all. And we call that controlled opposition. That's what we call that. Now, I would like to point out that some of these people that I'm going to call out, it's not that they never do any good reporting. They have good reporting. They have done good stories, and a lot of you probably know them, and a lot of you probably like them. I like some of them, but they still need to be called out for having this very subtle agenda that pushes people to go against their own best interests. And afterwards, I'd like you guys in the comments to tell me who you trust and who you don't trust and who you watch and why do you watch them, because I'm open to new perspectives. We all live in our bubbles. So yeah, let's get right down to naming them. And we'll start with the ones with the biggest subscribers. I would say that Breaking Points with Crystalline Sager and Secular Talk with Kyle Kulinski are probably some of the biggest offenders of this narrative. Breaking Point has 1.33 million subscribers, and Secular Talk with Kyle Kulinski has 1.29 million subscribers. They have huge followings, and they're always, they've had good stories, but they're always telling you the solutions they offer are not solutions at all. And for those of you who watch them, I think you probably see through it. But when we call these people out, we're going to tag them in the video so that they see that we made a video about them, and they see that we see their bullshit. So that's how that's going to go. So the top two I'd like to point out are Breaking Points with Crystalline Sager and Secular Talk with Kyle Kulinski. Some other people that have a pretty big following that need to be called out are Brianna Joy Gray and Bad Faith Podcast, Jimmy Dore, Kim Iverson, and Dave Smith. And these people fall under the group of, we want to break the duopoly, we want to break the system, but don't vote for any viable candidate because Israel. And they never talk about policies. It's always, don't vote for anybody because Israel. Brianna Joy Gray and her Bad Faith Podcast has 136,000 subscribers. Jimmy Dore has 1.41 million subscribers. Kim Iverson has 562,000 subscribers. And Dave Smith has 206,000 subscribers. Now, I would like to say that I do actually really like Kim Iverson, but at the same time, and she's good on pretty much everything, except for she tries to get you to vote against your own best interest or to not vote at all. She's really off on this one topic, and I think a lot of you see that. And Dave Smith, he has really good points too, but Dave Smith is like the gatekeeper to the Libertarian Party. He's a big influencer on that stand, and if it wasn't for Dave Smith, they could have had a great Libertarian candidate. RFK could have been their candidate, but instead, because of Dave Smith and his influence, they got Chase Oliver. And if you guys don't know who Chase Oliver is, look him up. He's a ticket. You know, he represents the Libertarian Party. Oh, yeah. So it's not, again, it's not like they don't do good reporting, but their agenda seems to be vote against your own best interests deep down. Another person is Glenn Greenwald, and he has 247,000 subscribers, and Sabby Sabs has 123,000 subscribers. And Sabby Sabs pulled a CNN and said, oh, well, let's analyze this video, RFK's speech. She's like, let's analyze this speech. But then as soon as he starts talking about chronic disease, she pulled away and she goes, oh, you know, we can't play that part because of what YouTube does. And that is complete and utter BS, because RFK's whole speech is up on YouTube. And if you are afraid of getting demonetized for one video for telling the truth, then you don't deserve the following that you have. I'm sorry. So those are all the people that are the biggest offenders. I'd like to know who you believe to be the biggest offenders. And one person that I don't want to leave out of this, he needs to be called out simply for lying, is David Pakman. David Pakman is an obvious mainstream puppet. It's obvious, but he's never claimed to be anything other than that. He's never claimed to be anti-establishment. He's never, claimed to say vote third party. What he did when Bernie was running, but since then he's changed. But he's not controlled opposition. He is obviously a mouthpiece for the mainstream media. However, he's also held to no journalistic integrity, and so he can just lie and say whatever he wants, and no one calls him out on it. And it's almost disgusting, the amount of lies he tells. It really, really bothers me that these people can just lie. And because it's on YouTube and Rumble, they're not held to any journalistic integrity. And yeah, that he needed to be called out. I do want to give a shout out to people who I think have good intentions. I may not agree with everything that they say, but I believe that for the most part, they are being honest, they are being true to who they are, and they truly want the best for this country. And those people, from what I can tell, you may not agree with me, but from what I can tell are Russell Brand, Bret Weinstein, and Eric Weinstein, Whitney Webb, Matt Taibbi, Redacted, Scott Ritter, and Tucker Carlson. I want to trust these people. They seem to be genuine, true to themselves, and have the best interests of this country at the heart of their being. And I would encourage you to look these people up if you haven't. Scott Ritter especially has some really good geopolitical analyses of what's going on right now. And his channel is Ask the Inspector on Rumble. He was kicked off of YouTube. And especially Bret Weinstein and Russell Brand too, man. Those guys are really good. And Whitney Webb, I feel, is a really legitimate journalist. So check out those guys and tell me what you think. I believe now that I've gotten this off of my shoulders, I can move on to other things, or gotten this off of my chest. That's how the phrase goes. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I will give you more videos in the near future. Thank you very much.